bestie, before you swipe, do you have issues with your neckline? Do you have issues with finishing your outfits in a neat and nice way? Do you have issues with your sleeve or armhole curves? At the end of the day, you have a lot of bulge. Or do you have issues with your back bulge? As a curvy person, please stay tuned. I'm going to be dealing with all of that in this video. Hello BFs, welcome to my channel. This is Butt Fash. So today's tutorial was a requested video, and when I got this request, I was happy because I love the dress. And then one thing she said was, please make it very detailed and beginner friendly. And I was like, okay, I'm going to take this so personal. This is a well detailed tutorial. I mean, you can just see the style and be like, oh, I know how to sew this, but don't swipe, stay tuned, because I'm going to be sharing every detail on how I got this outfit. As requested, don't hide anything. I'm not going to be hiding anything. Please subscribe to my channel, and I love you guys. Bye. For this tutorial, I'll be making use of two different fabric, the stretchy crepe and then the floral fabric. The floral fabric is 2 yards, while the red one is a leftover from a style I made. So now we'll just go ahead and draft our pattern. At the top of my pattern, as we usually do, I'm just going to draw a straight line, which is going to be serving as our starting point or shoulder line. So once I'm done with that, I'm going to go ahead to take my vertical measurement. I'm going to mark 10 inches for my bust point, 13.5 inch for my under bust line, and then my half length is going to be 17 inches. So I will mark this on both sides to create at least 2 points. I'll go ahead and use my straight ruler to connect all the points together. Afterward, we just take our shoulder measurement. Mine is 15 divided by 2, which is 7.5. So I'll go ahead and mark 7.5. Then from 7.5, come down by 1 inch. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm going to mark my 1 inch. I'm also marking 7.5 downwards, so I'll get a straight line. Okay, so just go ahead and do the same thing. Once I'm done with that, I'll connect all dots together to just form a very straight line at that point. So before then, let's look for our chest line, so I'll know where my straight line is going to stop. My chest line is my bust divided by 6 plus 1.5. In my own case, it's 7.66. But I'm going to be adding half an inch to this measurement. So I'm going to use 8 inches or 8.1 inch. So that's what I'm going to start marking from the 1 inch I came down from. So now just mark my 8 inch, which is about 1 inch above my bust point. That's what I'm done doing right now. I'm just going to go ahead and label all the other points. This is my bust point, my under bust line, and my half length or waistline. After I'm done with that, I'll take my straight ruler and just connect all the points together. Next, I'm going to take my neck depth and neck width. Usually there's a standard measurement, which is 3, that everybody usually use, but I found out that 3 is too tight for me. So what I do is I divide my bust measurement by 12 plus 1. So what I got was 3.5. That's what I'm marking. I'm marking 3.5 as a width and 3.5 as a length for my front piece. So we are drafting our front piece, so I'm just going to connect. And then after I'm done with that, I'll use my straight ruler and connect that 1 inch I came down by to the tip of my neckline, just the way you see me do right now. So this is the upper side of our body. We're almost done. So the next thing, I'm going to divide that my armhole line by 2. We had 8, so when we divide 8 by 2, what you're going to get is 4. So either way, either you come from the top and mark 4, or you come from the down part and mark 4. It's going to be the middle. So if you see me going from the top or going to the down, just know that is what I divided. I'm trying to impute. Afterward, I'm going to mark half inch at that midpoint that I marked. Then use my straight ruler to connect it back to that 1 inch I came down by. And then I'll now take my bust measurement. My bust measurement divided by 4. So if you have 40 divided by 4, whatever it is you have. Mine is 36. So divided by 4 give me 9 inches. I'm just going to mark my 9 inch as you see me do. Once I'm done marking my 9 inch, I'll bring my cover and curve it to the midpoint, which is where I'm pointing right now. So I'm just going to curve it to that midpoint, and now we have our armhole cuff. Now listen carefully to what I'll say next. There's no need to mark your bust circumference measurement on your bust point because the armhole is going to cut through it. So the next important measurement to take is your underbust measurement. Mine is 7.5, that's 30 divided by 4. And then at this half length measurement, I'm going to be minusing from my original half length. My original half length is between 29 and 30, but I'm going to be using 28 as my half length measurement because I want a snatch effect at that waistline. So I'll mark 7 inch as my half length measurement. So now I'll just go ahead and use my straight ruler and connect the 3 dots together. That's the armhole curve, the underbust, and then the half length. So I'm done, and it didn't pass through the underbust. It's just like 0.25 inch allowance, which is okay because you don't want that underbust to be too tight. It can be very uncomfortable. So next, I want the length of the basque effect. So I'm going to be using 9 without any sewing allowance. This 9 is also equivalent to my waist to hip measurement. So I'm just going to mark 3 points from my half length downwards. I've connected the dot I made. So this is just me labeling my hip length. You can use 8, yours could be 10. Just make sure you don't add any sewing allowance. From that horizontal line, I'm just going to go ahead and impute my hip measurement, which is 10.5. That's 42 divided by 4. So that is what I mark. And then I will now connect it back to my waistline, which is what I'm doing right now. So once I'm done with this, I'm going to curve this half length because that place is not straight, it's a bit curvy. So, and then I'll go ahead and impute my allowance. Remember, we've not added any sewing allowance to this outfit, so I'm going to be using 1.5 as my sewing allowance. So I'll just go ahead and do it and then connect all the dots together. So I added 1.5 at the chest line, added to the half length, and then added to the hip line. So I'm connecting the 3 dots together right now. And once I'm done, I'm going to give that half length a little curve. I want to curve the back effect. What I would do is add the allowance I added to this outfit, sewing allowance. I'm going to come down by 4 inch. So some of this curve are V, some of the backs are V, but from this style inspiration, it's looking more like a C cut, like a C shape. So I've gone ahead to mark 4 inch. This is me showing you guys that it's 4 inches downward from the half length. And then that 4 inch, I'm going to connect it to the tip of the hip line, and then I'm just going to mark little dots. So this 4 inch is going to be first of all straight. From there, I'm now going to give it a C curve to the hip line, and it's going to be above the hip line. I'm not adding any sewing allowance. So guys, just try to make it as curvy as possible, and if you're comfortable with your free hand, go ahead. If you're not, use your curve rule, but you can use your free hand to achieve this. So this is the end of our front drafting tutorial. So this is more like it. We are done with the front part. Before I cut out, I want to also draft the back piece. So I'm going to just bring another extra paper and then mark out 1 inch as my zipper allowance. And this ruler is 1 inch. I usually use it. Once I was done marking my 1 inch, I'll go ahead and place my front piece right on that line I kept for my zipper allowance, just as you are seeing me doing right now. I'll go ahead and secure it with a tape. This is so that everything will stay in place. And then there are just few alterations I need to do at the back piece, but before that, I'm going to extend my bust point line, my under bust line, my half length line, and my hip line to the back zipper allowance of the back piece. So at this neck point, this is one of the alterations. I'm going to make the back neckline higher than the front neckline. So I'll come down from that our shoulder line by 1 inch and curve it back into the 3.5 inch width that I kept at the front neck piece, which is what I'm doing right now. At this half length, that's the waistline, I'm going to go in by 0.75 inch. This is to reduce the zip bulge at the end. Especially if you are curvy, you should go in by 0.75 to 1 inch. So I'm just going to do that right now, and I want it to be a bit curvy, not so straight. That's why I'm using my curve roller. So I'll connect that 0.7 inch back to my hip line. So whenever I eliminate back bulge, I still notice that at this bust area, I used to have a lot of fold there. So what I'm going to do differently in this outfit is that at the bust point line, I'm going to come in by half an inch. So I'm taking out almost 1 inch from my bust circumference. My outfit was very fitted, and so I'll just connect with the straight ruler to the neckline, just as you see me do. We are done with all the back alteration. Now is to cut. Make sure that you are cutting the back neckline first, so you don't mistakenly cut the front and the back neckline the same. So I'm just going to cut everything as the same with the front pattern that I drafted. So follow suit with what I did. This is the final alteration for the back piece. Again, I'm trying to reduce the back bulge, so the back is always 2 inch shorter than the front. But since this is a cut together outfit, there's no joining at the waist, so I'm going to try to eliminate that zip excess at the back. So what I went ahead to do right now is to mark where our allowance is. That the 1.5 inch allowance I added to the front, I marked it at the back, and then I went ahead to cut the front neckline and just indicated that okay, I have to add half an inch at the armhole, at the neckline, and also at the shoulder slope. So once I'm done with this front piece, I'm going to set it aside. I do the same thing that I did, just to indicate that I have half inch to add all around, so I don't forget when I'm cutting this on my fabric. So now this is me indicating which of the pattern is the front, which of the pattern is the back. So basically I'm just labeling the pattern. So once I'm done with that, at the lower part of this back pattern I drafted, I'm going to go up by 0.75. So I'm trying to reduce back bulge. So this is just what I'm showing you guys right now. So I'm going to go up by 0.7 inch and then connect it to the allowance that I indicated. That's the 1.5 inch allowance that I kept by the side. I'm just going to mark 0.7 inch all around, and then to use my curve ruler right now and then curve that 0.7 inch I came up by and then connect it to the allowance I marked by the side. I'm done with that. I'm just going to go ahead and cut out that excess. So you're going to see this effect on the outfit when I'm done sewing. So this is all for the front and the back piece. So I just showed you guys how the front is longer than the back by 0.7 inch. The next thing I'll do now is to take my full gown length, which is 39 inches. So making sure that my half length is aligning, that I place my tape on my half line, and my half length is 17.5. I measured from there using the curve side to know where my 39 inch is. If you use the front side of your outfit, it might be a bit short, so I'm just trying to make sure that one side is not lifting too high than the other. So from my half length to the curve side of my front piece, what I have is 21.5 inch. So 21.5 inch to the full length of my dress was about 17 inch difference. I use that measurement to cut the piece I'm going to be using for my gathers. That's the second part of my outfit. I'm just going to stop here for today. Again, I want this video to be very detailed, so by tomorrow I'm going to post the complete part of the video, and trust me, it's going to be very detailed. I'm going to be showing you how I cut, how I joined, every stitch I made, and every seam I pressed open or closed. So guys, thank you so much for staying tuned to this end part of the video. I really appreciate. If you found this valuable, please share with your friends, like this video, subscribe, and join our lovely community.